What's going on, YouTube? It's ya boy, Cam ATL, and welcome back to another video with your boy. Drop a like down below because I already know you're gonna love it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment anything in the comment section to enter your name into the $50 giveaway I do every single week on this channel. I'm doing a $100 giveaway on the Prize Picks video for week 1, and I'm gonna do a $100 giveaway on this video for week 1. All right, this is the week 1 first look lineup video for Draftkings. As you guys know, man, the DFS lineups, you know where the plug is for DFS lineups when it comes to NFL, NBA, MLB, pickleball. No, I'm just kidding. But over at greenlightdfs.com, man. Greenlightdfs.com. Make sure y'all grab that. The season discounted price, okay, where you're getting $100 off the season package at greenlightdfs.com, is available until Thursday. You have a couple days as of I'm posting this, okay? I'm posting this Tuesday night. You have a couple days to get to it, all right? Let's take a look at the first look lineup for DraftKings. I'm going to go through and build an entire lineup for the first look and kind of early thoughts on the slate, kind of real quick breakdown, and then later on in the week we'll do a full slate breakdown video and all that good stuff. All right, so first things first, right? We need correlation. That's the first things first, man. We got to find a spot where not only do we like the stack for the quarterback, unless it's a running quarterback, then you can play him by himself, which, with that being said, I do kind of like Daniel Jones. I do kind of like Daniel Jones week 1. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I hate Daniel Jones. The Colts have a 24.5 projected total in Vegas, which is honestly one of the higher totals. They're at home in Indianapolis, okay? They are in a dome. There's a lot of different factors that are looking good for Daniel Jones. All right? So Daniel Jones is a very interesting option, okay? Not only that, but you got some decent build strategy with that stack as well. But there's another spot that really sticks out to me and I have some interest in, and I think it'll be low owned, which is why I want to talk about him. Let's talk about our boy Joe Flacco. All right, real quick. Why can't I get Joe to pop up? My internet? Yeah, my internet's just laggy. My internet just sucks back here in my office. Anyway, Joe Flacco is at home in Cleveland. Now, he doesn't have the environment that Daniel has in Indianapolis, okay, in the Dome. He will be in Cleveland, okay? But here's the situation here. You're getting a quarterback who has proven some big upside, man. This dude can chunk the ball, okay, plain and simple. He can chuck the ball. He's got some decent receivers to throw the ball to. He's got some solid talent around him. We know Flacco has big potential, especially in a position where he's playing behind and they're going to be doing nothing but chucking it. They're going to have to throw a lot in this game because I'm expecting the Bengals to get up and be leading and forcing the Cleveland Browns to not run as much and throw the ball. So one thing we know is Flacco will be throwing the ball a good bit. Now, another great reason why I like this stack is the run back. All right, let's talk about it. Chase Brown. Chase Brown in this situation is a fantastic option. He's in a favored position for Cincinnati, where Cincinnati's going to be up early and they're going to be running more with Chase Brown, whereas Cleveland on the other side will be chucking it a million times. So really love Joe Flacco, and I got to pair my boy Joe Flacco up with his number 1 receiver. We got to, first and foremost, we got to do that. So we got to go our boy Jerry Jeudy. And this is what I mean. Like, this is a talented, he's got some talented guys to throw the ball to. And the pricing is clutch. Not only do I like the fact Cleveland's going to be playing from behind and having to throw it a ton, but they're at home. So there's a bump being at home for week 1. The Cleveland will be hyped up, be a little, extra motivated. Cincinnati will be ahead, so we know they're going to be chucking it. And he's got good price guys to pair with. So we got Jerry Jeudy, and then I want to pair him with David Njoku. David Njoku is one of my favorite tight ends this week because he just goes with my stack easily. So we got Joe Flacco paired up with Jerry Jeudy and David Njoku in a spot where they're playing from behind, throwing a ton to keep up against Cincinnati. And on the other side of Cincinnati, them being up, leaning on the run with Chase Brown. All right, Chase Brown is a dude that obviously we know the type of upside he possesses as well. He should get a lot of run in this game, in this situation. All right. Then another way to correlate has always been defense paired up with running back. Broncos are my favorite defense this week. Okay, my favorite defense this week. Tennessee has the lowest team total of any team this week. Denver is at home in Denver with a stout-ass defense. I just really, really love the spot for them. All right? Going back to running backs, what do you pair a defense with? The running back on that team. Because if the defense is doing great, that means they're able to control the clock with the run game as well on the other side. So, J.K. Dobbins. I'm expecting J.K. Dobbins to easily get 15-plus carries in this situation. And it's in a fantastic spot for him here. And again, correlation. Everything here correlates and goes together. Right? Again, Cleveland playing from behind. And again, another reason why we like these guys is I don't think Flacco's going to be the best quarterback this week. I don't need him to be. He's 4'9". Paired up with Jerry, Jeudy, and Njoku, I'm getting a full-on stack of a team throwing a lot, playing from behind at great prices. I mean, the PPR potential on both of these guys playing from behind is amazing on DraftKings with the full point. You feel what I'm saying? All right. Let's keep this going. Now, I have to apologize first and foremost because I glanced down at my favorite lineup I've built already and that I was going to be putting in this first look, and I do not have Chase Brown. Okay? It's not Chase Brown. It's actually the number one wide receiver of the week. How do you think they're going to get up? How do you think they get up in this game? Jamar Chase. Now, as you know, with DraftKings full point PPR and Jamar Chase and him, I mean, they could connect for a few touchdowns, getting Cincinnati up big by halftime. Jamar Chase has huge upside. I remember having Chase Brown for a while due to the correlation and kind of the way I'm expecting the game to go. But I had the money left over, and I said, you know what? On full point PPR like DraftKings is, I'm going to go with their number one receiver that's going to definitely get them up in the first place. And that's Jamar Chase. He's going to get a ton of looks in the beginning, in the early half of the game. Could score a few touchdowns pretty easily. I mean, Cincinnati's just an overpowered offense, okay? They're just a cheat code offense. Now, as a cheap receiver that I love this week is Emeka. Now, I have a few versions with the Tampa Bay stack. I do have a few versions with a Tampa Bay stack running back on the other side with Drake London or even Bijan Robinson. I do have those versions. Now, obviously, by now, I have like 20 different versions, okay? This is just a version that I'm really liking for the upside, all right? Emeka is my guy at 4.6. Like, the price is just really good in a great offensive Tampa Bay, in a dome in Atlanta. All right, it just everything adds up for Emeka to be having a fantastic game, okay? So we've got Joe Flacco, Jeudy, and Njoku playing catch-up, doing a lot of throwing at their amazing prices. We're running it back with the best player on the Bengals that will help get them up big to begin with. Plus, it's week 1. They're just run the score up. You know what I mean? Run the score up. Who cares? So, yeah, love that spot. We've got J.K. Dobbins paired up with the defense of the Broncos. Broncos completely just control the game in this first game, week 1. Then at running back, I love James Conner. James Conner against New Orleans, okay? I love this spot for them. He's in a dome in New Orleans. They have a 25-point implied total. Arizona is a high implied team total in Vegas this week. They're also minus 285 favorites to win. What does that mean? They are big favorites to win, expected to be up, expected to lean on the run, and at 6'1", James Conner is fantastic. A fantastic option in an amazing position here as big favorites, high total, amazing spot. Now, last but not least, I wanted to make sure there was a ton of correlation here. Now, the only one-off in this entire lineup is James Conner. Because Emeka, we're going to run back on the other side with Drake London. Drake London is going to be the focal point of this. Him and Bijan Robinson are the offense in Atlanta. Plain and simple. We saw Drake London start really breaking out at the end of last year. He had some amazing games at the end of last year. To be honest with you, in this matchup, at home in Atlanta in a dome, I think his floor is 15. I believe Drake London's floor is 15. The dude got 13 targets and 18 targets in the last 2 weeks of the season last year. He was averaging like 8+ targets a game. He's going to get you 15 at a baseline. And then he has crazy upside with Atlanta, most likely playing from behind at home. Okay? Now, this is a tight game. This is a competitive game. So I don't think it's going to, you can't really predict too much script here. I think it's going to be a lot of back and forth, a lot of throwing the ball. I don't think either team's just going to run a million times. I think they're going to throw the ball a good bit. Drake London in full point PPR is going to be one of the most targeted receivers in the league this year. At home, in Atlanta, in a dome, runs back a Mecca who I like anyway. It's just full correlation, y'all. And this is the idea of how you want to build this season. And every single lineup you build needs to have full correlation. Now, you can one-off a player or two, but you need to have full correlation that makes sense. Let's go over the first look lineup for DraftKings. We've got Joe Flacco paired up with Jerry Jeudy and David Njoku, playing from behind at home in Cleveland against Cincinnati. Running it back on the other side with Jamar Chase. Then we've got J.K. Dobbins paired up with the Broncos defense, expecting Broncos to control the game at home in Denver. J.K. get a ton of work week 1. Then we've got James Conner, kind of a one-off in a highly favored spot for Arizona. Big favorites, should run a lot with James Conner, run him into the ground at 6-1. Love the value for him getting as many touches as we should see him get week 1. Absolutely love that spot for him as well. Emeka is an amazing, one of my favorite receivers at that price range at 4.6. And this offense that throws as much as Tampa Bay does, they're in a dome in Atlanta. I love Emeka. And you got to expect the Atlanta defense to zone in on Mike Evans. Now, will they stop Mike Evans? Probably not. But they got to zone in on Mike Evans. That's going to open things up for Emeka. He's a talented receiver, and we should see a big game here at 4.6. And then Drake London running Emeka back in a dome game that should see some passing, and he's a high-targeted guy. Everything makes sense. Now, there's multiple versions I've made this week that correlates like this, but at the end of the day, we will have the favorite posted on Sunday morning. You already know what it is. Let's eat this week, ladies and gentlemen. Thank y'all for joining me as always. GreenlightDFS.com to join up for the optimal DFS lineups for DraftKings and FanDuel. Thank y'all for watching, and we'll do a final look, full slate breakdown later in the week. Appreciate y'all as always. Let's eat. I'm out.